Hey guys, it is day 5, week 2. It's the end of our preparation week, and I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about business budgeting and how important it is in your business. We tend to kind of run our businesses pretty willy-nilly at first, just kind of throwing money into it when we need to around transition, and then taking absolutely as much out of it as possible, just to have some fun with. And then I know that some of you are in a transitional period of your businesses where you're trying to make sure it's more of a business, less of a hobby. And so you know that that's going to end up being, you have to be very careful about how much you're spending on your business, because you do need some as take home. In the very, very beginning, I definitely recommend using your money to kind of treat yourself, and then using it to build your business, because there's just not that much of it. And then as you grow into a leadership role, right around lead and star, I recommend really being careful with how much of your paycheck you're spending on your business, how much you're taking home, and figuring out a number that works for you percentage-wise on what you're going to use as your take home. So for me, in the very beginning, I did 10% back into my business, and then I did 10% set aside for taxes when it was very small amounts, right? So I was able to put $100, so if it was $1,000 paycheck, which is pretty common once you hit superstar consultant and above, especially if your PRV is well beyond the minimums. So if you have $1,000 paycheck, I always would put, when I was doing it at that time, I was putting $100 back into my business per month, and then I was doing $100 aside for taxes, right? Or trying to. If you like to travel a lot with Scentsy or do reunion, you're going to want to increase that percentage so that you're only using Scentsy money on traveling. So as I continued, a much more comfortable percentage for me ended up being, there's a spider in here. Be free! Okay, so be free. So as I continued to grow, I slowly increased that percentage, because your business will continue to cost a little more to run as you grow, especially if you're serious about turning it into a business. So I increased my percentage to around 30%, and now I'm at 40%. So 40% of my paycheck every month goes into taxes and business expenses. And so learning to set a percentage early on, and then increasing it into your tax bracket amount and things like that, to make sure that you have enough to cover taxes and you have enough to cover your business expenses, but you also have enough money every month to actually be able to run your business at a pace and a speed that you need to. Be able to make as many welcome packets, send as much team mail as you'd like, and making sure that you are treating your business like a business. And a business that you'd go to every day and turn the key of is going to require expenses of you. So learning to make sure that you're setting that money aside early before your paychecks get too big is going to help it not feel so difficult to do when your paychecks are large. I mean, there are months where the amount of money set aside for taxes and business expenses in my business is an entire month of pay for my full-time job that I used to have. So, but that doesn't hurt, because I have it automatically done when I get paid. And immediately, every time I see my commission from Scentsy, I times it by 60%, and I know that that's what my take home is going to be. I act like I'm actually getting paid a paycheck where taxes and expenses and things like that are already taken out off the top. And so my take home is a certain amount. And I never look at that bigger amount. Like, I never act like that was ever going to come home to me. I never act like, oh my gosh, my business is taking this money away from me. It wasn't mine. It's not going to be mine. And the earlier you can start setting money aside and not touching it in your personal life, the easier the transition to a larger business is going to be for you. And then you can continue to adjust that percentage. So once you have your very first large paycheck year and you've paid your taxes on it, and you talk to your accountant about what, if I did this at the same pace but maybe grew by 30%, what would my taxes look like next year? Have them run that report for you so you know how much to set aside. You might be able to lower the percentage that you're setting aside. Or you can lower the tax percentage and increase the business spending percentage. Your accountant will help you with that. We're getting our coffee. So I want to hear, how do you know how much to set aside for your business expenses, right? I want you guys to start thinking about the things in your business every month that you need to be spending money on. So is it postage? Is it team mail? Do you need to be buying catalogs, order forms, some stock? I'm sorry about this. I can't get the sun to go away. What kinds of things in your business do you spend monthly on? Do you subscribe to Trello, CinchShare, all the subscriptions? Write everything down. Get an Excel worksheet, write it all down. Lori, I know you just got Excel, so there you go. Write it all down. Start spreadsheets or start notebooks in your business binder. You can start a page for your budget. Write down everything you need to be spending money on. Write down Maven. Write down all of the apps you use, your over subscription, anything that you're spending money on in your business needs to be written down. So write it all down so you know at least how much you need to be setting aside. And then take your average paycheck and figure out which percentage of your paycheck is that amount, okay? And then do another about 15% for your taxes to set aside. That's gonna help you set your first percentage. So if you have added up all of your expenses for the month and then a little bit extra, for whatever you might need it for, and your paychecks are like, let's say they're like $150 in expenses and your paychecks are $800. Take off the 150 or divide it or whatever out and see what percentage that is, and then go into your pay portal and have that percentage automatically sent somewhere else. So when you get paid, you can actually have the pay portal divide your paychecks for you into percentages and send them to different places. So for me, what I used to do, and this worked really well for a long time, and I have it do something different now, but this worked for like 5 years in my business. I had a business checking account, and that's what I did my business expenses out of. That's where I deposited customer checks. Those never went into my personal checking because I didn't want them accidentally spent. So I had a business checking account at the bank. And so I had all my customer checks deposited there. My PayPal, my Square, everything is connected to that. My Cash App, my Venmo, everything is connected to that account for customer transactions. So what I have is my business expense money goes into that account. And then on my in my pay portal or my pay card from Sensi is where I used to store my tax money so that I wouldn't, and I didn't have a pay card from Sensi, so I just kept it there and then cashed it out into my portal when I needed it. So your homework, I hope that was helpful for you guys. I don't know if it was or not, but that's just my experience. I definitely recommend hiring an accountant, making sure that you have a business budget set up for every month so you know exactly what's coming out, you know which subscriptions you're subscribed to, you know how much you're spending on average on catalogs and order forms, and then having those percentages divided out automatically is going to help you not feel, it's going to help you respect your business a little more. It's really important for me to have it already transferred out automatically because I would either get way too frugal with my business or I would overspend. So there was no happy medium. So once it's out automatically, I have a limit, but I also have, it's a generous amount so that I can make sure that I'm not limiting my business when it can't be limited, and I'm not stopping myself from doing things I need to do because I'm not authorizing enough money to my business. So why do people turn on red like when they don't have to? It blows my mind. You're gonna get a green light anyway. So let me know below what you guys are doing currently for budgeting in your business. If you're not doing anything, that's fine, but let's start today. How can you set up your transactions? How can you set up your percentages? What do you think your percentages are going to be based on the level of your business and the amount and the speed in which you need to grow your business? It takes money to make money. So if you're not spending very much on your business right now, you might see a direct correlation with how much you're spending on your business and how much it's actually paying you back. So make sure that you are being generous with what you're giving yourself to spend in your business so that you have some wiggle room and you have room for innovating and exploring and growing. And then, make sure you're setting aside for taxes as well, because as you grow, eventually you are not going to be getting a tax refund from what if you have another job. So you're going to owe taxes on your Scentsy income if you can't write off enough. So you want to make sure you have enough stuff aside. And it's honestly, that's not a downfall to this business. You're paying taxes anyway with any job. You have to pay them somehow. The nice thing is sometimes you'll find you're paying a lot less taxes than what you should be based on your income. So it is a really interesting setup. But I want to know, for your homework today, what are you going to implement? Tell me what kind of programs you think you're going to use. How much percentage you think you're going to set aside. Is that more than you're used to spending on your business? Is it less than you have been spending? Or are you still in the point of your business where you may not need your Scentsy paychecks and you're able to give a lot more into your business at this point when you're trying to grow, which is the ideal situation. Being able to kind of spend and grow and then scale it all back in when you need the income. So let me know. I just want to hear about how your business looks right now as far as your budgeting goes. Are you an overspender? Are you an underspender? Have you not been allotting any money aside for taxes? How can we run our businesses more like businesses? Let's just have the conversation below. Let's chat about our systems. If anybody's a really good budgeter or has a really cool system, maybe you can share that as well. I want to hear more about it. Bye, guys.